Hello, in this presentation I will share how I use a Scientific Graphical Organiser in my lessons of natural sciences and physics at International School Twente, the Netherlands. My colleague from University of Delft, Freek Pols, has already explained how the SGO offers a tool that allows for fair assessment of practical skills without the need of extensive reports, which are time-consuming for students and teachers alike. The SGO I use in the lower years. This is an example of a year 7 in which they designed one of their first experiments. Note that the SGO has all the elements on one page: research question, theory, materials, setups, the variables, and the procedure. Interesting to note though here as well is that you see different colors. Here the students work in pairs, and without me prompting them, they use different colors to indicate who did what. And that provided excellent feedback to me in terms of the group dynamics. But because it shows all the essential elements of a scientific inquiry on one page, it is also very suitable to analyze the quality of scientific inquiry. Because after all, scientific inquiry is to draw conclusions based on observations. And because the SGO offers all the essential elements on one page, it's very suitable for peer discussions. In Dylan Williams' words, the students become learning resources for one another. Here is an example of a Year 10 student who investigated the relationship between the length of a pendulum and a period when placed on the water. Also note that this student was very meticulous in elaborating on aspects of his plan. Also in the higher years, I used the SGO successfully. Here's an example of a Year 12 student investigating wave phenomena, and in particular wanted to determine the distance between the two slits in the multiple slit that was provided by me. You also see that the procedure is well thought through. Note as well that this student preferred to work on a computer, and whether you use pen and pencil or a computer, you still have the advantage of a SGO, where you have all the essential elements of a scientific inquiry on one page. The planning also involves really thinking meticulously about the values of the independent variable. Here's an example of a Year 7 student who planned the experiment by writing down the values of the independent variable, already preparing the table, and then, while doing the experiment, the student used the table that was already prepared on the SGO to fill in the data, the measurements that the student obtained. I already said there is no need for writing extensive reports. This is in particular relevant for students who do not master the English language so well. In other words, it's very suitable for EAL students. Here's an example of a student who just emigrated from Japan to the Netherlands, and the mastery of the English language was not so good. So the students wrote down the procedure in Japanese, and after the student was done writing the procedure, I sat down with the student, and the student explained to me, pointing to objects in the lab, acting out what the plan was the student had in mind to perform this scientific inquiry. In another video, my colleague has explained from an academic researcher point of view how useful the SGO can be. In this video, I hopefully showed how versatile the SGO can be and thus how useful the SGO can be for teachers.